Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Scam Alert. This is episode number 10, and we need to discuss the Twitter hack.
Hey yo!
On July 15th, Twitter had a major data breach, and some very prominent accounts were hacked. We often talk in the scam baiting community about scammers using a term called social engineering on their victims. The term social engineering means that a scammer is able to use deception to manipulate the victims into divulging personal information that can be used for fraudulent purposes. Scammers use these tactics on people all the time. And I believe that if we somehow, some way are able to reverse social engineer the scammers, we might have a fighting chance at slowing them down. So you might be thinking, Deo, what the heck does social engineering have to do with the Twitter hack, dude? What the heck? Scammers were able to use social engineering on Twitter employees to allow them to have access to admin tools that the general public didn't even know existed. Now that's a whole other monster, but let's talk about what this means to you and I. As I showed earlier, many prominent accounts were hacked and they tweeted out a Bitcoin scam. Now scammers often use cryptocurrency to perform their scams due to the fact that it's untraceable and there's anonymity behind it. If you've watched my channel in the past, you've seen where scammers ask a victim to go to a Bitcoin machine to make a payment to deposit or secure their funds. So this hack is extremely important because of the names associated with the tweets. Many times with these scams, scammers are impersonating being technical support staff of Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, QuickBooks, and a bunch of other companies as well. They also pretend to be government officials from the CRA, the SSA, the IRS, the DEA, Service Canada, sometimes even the FBI. So in this case, they were impersonating names of people who people believe and trust very often. Now keep in mind, when someone is scammed, that money is not in good hands. See, I believe money makes you more of what you may already be. If you're a good person with a lot of money, you can do a lot of good. If you're a bad person with a lot of money, you can do a lot of bad. Scammers are not good people. Always remember that. I think for a lot of people, 2020 hasn't turned out what people thought it would be. Kind of like this. Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls. Wearing this.
Alright.
Wearing only this. Over on bed, the couch. Now, head down. Eyes to me, keep them on me. And try to stay still. Freaking 2020, seriously, man. So why we're talking about this is because we need to be aware of the information that we're putting online. Earlier this year, scammers were doing the same thing they were doing on Twitter to YouTubers. They were taking over their accounts, their channels, and there was nothing YouTube could do about it. That's freaking scary, man. That's why it's important that you use a different password for anywhere online that you need a password. You have to make sure that you're not using common ones like admin 12345 or password, for example. So I'm going to give you some tips to create a more secure password and account online. Use a combination of numbers, letters, and symbols. Maybe combine 3 random memorable words. Don't reuse passwords for separate accounts. Use multi-factor authentication. Don't store your password using simple text, meaning don't just write it out somewhere. And use a password strength analyzer. There's some online that I'm going to link to where you can go in and type a password and see how strong the password is. Use those. Use those to your advantage to make sure that your passwords are strong. And I don't mean to scare you with this, but if the platforms that we're using don't have the ability to keep us safe, then the strongest passwords in the world mean absolutely nothing. I just showed you with what happened with Twitter. Some of these platforms have to implement changes and put systems in place, like for example with Twitter, instead of having had one employee get social engineered and give hackers access to these admin tools for them to be able to reset passwords on these accounts to then take over these accounts and tweet out this scam. If they had had a system in place where 2 people are needed for at least a minimum, where 2 people are needed to be able to reset a password, then that would have prevented that. Kitboga recently put out a video on staying safe online. I'm going to put a link to the video in the description below. It is an excellent video that talks about making sure that you're using pseudonames or different names, aliases and such online to keep yourself safe. But when we're talking about online stuff, guys, you have to always remember that you have to verify stuff. We live in one of the greatest eras of history. We have everything accessible at our fingertips. We're able to just send stuff out like never before. Things that used to take days, weeks, even months, like telegrams, snail mail, and all that, sending by pigeon. All that stuff, guys, no longer takes that long. Now within seconds, you can send someone an email and boom, they have that kind of stuff. They have the information they need. We live in a time where instant gratification seems to be the thing. We like things to get done fast. Remember these days? Now, I'm not saying go cancel your fast internet and go back to dial-up. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to be very, very careful with what you're also sharing online. What I'm saying is sometimes we perpetuate information that is not real because we are instantly just retweeting or just sharing it on our online platforms. I want you to think about this. How many times have you shared an article, a tweet, a post, or a claim without verifying its validity? Did you do it because the person who initially posted it was someone that you trusted? Well, this is exactly how the scammers who were able to hack Twitter use that exact same mentality that we have against us, because they used people that we believe in or people that we trust or people that we just believe in general to tweet out a scam. All I'm saying is if you think something is worth sharing, do a little bit of research on it. And I'm not saying Google is going to have all the answers or everything that's on Google is true and factual and so forth and so on. But I believe that the more information that you have, the more of an educated decision you can make before just retweeting and reposting and sharing all that information. Remember when people would post that I no longer give Facebook access or permission to use my pictures, my likeness, blah, 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 all that stuff as seen on Channel 3 News? Which Channel 3 News was it? Did you check it out? Did you double check? Did you verify? A lot of times we don't do that kind of stuff. So all I'm saying is be very careful. Even if it's someone that you trust, just double check. You don't have to tweet it out or share it right away. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to be skeptical about what is online. Keep in mind how much the scammers manipulate people's bank accounts to make it look like they accidentally refunded too much money. So as I said before, I'm not saying Google has the answers to everything or that everything on Google is factual. The internet is the bathroom wall of the 21st century. I read that on the internet. So friends, stay alert, stay safe, and if you're gonna deal with scammers, make sure you use protection. I hope this information has been useful to you. I'm Deo, and I'm out. Peace.